Hello. You can see that the body of the Parlour guitar now is complete, and also the neck. I always shape the head first, and you can see I've got the slots in here for the traditional style slotted head, stacked various pieces to form the heel, and running down a channel in here I've got a steel reinforcing tube, piece of 10mm stainless steel square tube. And what I'm going to show you in this video is how these two elements are joined together. And what I use is a dovetail joint. No screws or bolts for me. My card's put together with screws and bolts. I don't see that there's any place in a musical instrument for that. Okay, the next stage then isn't for the faint-hearted. I'm going to cut the female part of the dovetail with a router. So the body of the Parlour guitar is clamped into this jig that I've made up, and a template follower on the base of the router will follow this piece of acrylic. The first few cuts that I make, I'll use a straight 6mm cutter, and that will cut away the bulk of the wood, and then I'll change the cutters over and use a dovetail cutter. You can't vary the height on a dovetail cutter. You've got to cut full depth in one hit. So that's the reason why the majority of it has to be chopped out with a 6mm one first. Okay, so you can see some of the initial cutting done here, where I've removed the majority of the joint, and I'm now going to change the cutter for the dovetail cutter, which will give tapered sides to the dovetail. Okay, so you can see now that I've cut the female part of the dovetail. It's tapered. It's tapered in this direction, and it tapers towards the back, gets narrower towards the back. So we've got this tapered dovetail. And my rule is I've machined that now as accurately as I can using my jig. I'm not going to touch that part at all. What I've now got to do, and this is done by hand, is cut the male part of the dovetail in here and very carefully fit that so that when it pushes in, it locks up just at exactly the right point. And of course you've got alignment in this direction and that direction to take into consideration. So that's my next step. So you can see now that I've cut the male part of the dovetail on the neck, and in this profile you can see the typical dovetail shape, and this way you can see how it tapers down towards where the back of the guitar would be. So here you can see the female part of the dovetail cut into the body, and what happens now is that the neck slides in, and that last millimetre or so, it's pushed in, and you end up with an incredibly firm join. And you have to be careful to get it aligned, obviously down the centre of the instrument, and also in this direction, this plane. So I'll take that out in a moment and glue that in. But you can see how strong that is without any glue at all. Well, you can see now that the neck has been glued in, so the neck and the body are as one, and that's the thing that I like about the dovetail. Once it's been glued in, the whole unit is one. It's going to vibrate. It's going to work together. I'm not convinced that guitars with necks which are bolted on, which is obviously the vogue with a number of manufacturers at the moment, will perform as well. To me, putting bolts in to hold the neck on is about production. It's not about tone, it's not about sound. So the next thing for me to do now will be to prepare the ebony fingerboard, cut the fret slots into it, and that will be glued on next. But you'll see that in the next episode. Okay, thank you for watching, and goodbye.